Hello, everyone. We are here at the 50 plus and flirty dating summit. And I am so happy that you decided to join us. My name is Sharon C. Jenkins, and I am your host. Now, I've had the time of my life interviewing some great people. And you know what? My friend Marticia Sherman is a great person, and I had to bring her on to talk to you today about right mindset, right mate. Hi, Marticia.
Hi. Hi. Yes, I'm here. Right mindset, right mate. Yes, yes. Which is all a part of what I'm talking about this 2025. New year, new mindset. And we got to have the right mindset for it all.
Absolutely. So let me tell our listeners and viewers a little something about you. You have an unapologetic approach to mental health and the eradicating of the stigma that is causing cultural gaps between the patient, the caregivers, families, and society's history of generalizing what is actually needed in support around mental health issues and mental health well being. This is what caused Marticia and her passion to become a mental health professional and a mental health advocate. So you was just tired of some stuff happening that you were seeing in the world, and you were just like, folks have problems. They have physical problems, and they have mental problems, and they got spiritual problems.
Oh,
And
Lord.
it is the nature of who we are.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we popped out of the womb perfect?
I don't think so. Because then
You
that would leave no room for us to grow if we
okay?
popped out of the world perfect.
Okay.
And when I speak about who I am and what I represent in the mental health industry with my over 11 plus years of service in this industry. I tend to go back to when I first realized what mental health was. And I was at the age of 14 when that happened.
Oh.
So I say this joke every time as my icebreaker whenever I'm speaking. I'll tell people my parents, I told them they were going to be my first clients on my couch because I wanted to know what was going on back in the days when our parents were having us and their mentality and how they saw life and what was going on till it was so okay to do the things they were doing back in the days with families and children and everything. And, it was just a lot. And I see that it doesn't stop. It hasn't stopped. It's still some of these cycles are still going on right now today in our generation, which brings me back to, having the right mindset for when you're ready to date someone. You have to be prepared and get those triggers taken care of and having the right coping skill because I had to learn even in my dating that everybody's not the same.
Mhm. Mhm. They're not built the same, they don't look the same, they don't have the same experiences. I hear you, I hear you. Okay, so let's get back to right mindset.
Yes.
50 and above, there's a good chance that you were divorced or widowed. What would you say to that woman who is about to re-enter or desires to re-enter the dating field?
Oh my God. I just had this conversation. It depends on where you are spiritually. If I take it from a spiritual aspect, I'll say date God to date yourself first
Mm.
before you jump out there because he can show you how to love and love unconditionally. If you're not in that arena of spiritual, learn how to date yourself first because you need to know what it is that you like and desire in a mate. You need to know what flowers you like if you want flowers. You need to know what colors you like if you like colors. You need to know all these things about yourself to make sure you're complete before you jump back out into that arena because there may be a time that you're dating and that person may trigger you and not know that that's something that triggered you, but you need to know what your triggers are. You need to know what will cause you to, like they say in society, ghost someone in dating them. What are your do's and don'ts? You know, nobody's perfect, and don't ever go into a relationship. And I have to say this. I have to say this just because a guy asks you out to dinner for coffee doesn't mean he's trying to marry you. I had that problem. I really had that problem. I was like, a guy would say, let's go out to dinner. And I'd be like, no, and they were like, what? And in my head, I was like, oh, he's trying to take me off the market. And I would be so just bad with it. But now I'm like, they're just getting to know you. And getting to know you doesn't mean that I'm taking you off the market. It's just how we take a test. It's how we take an exam. We got to study the material first before we jump out there and say, hey, I'm going to ace this test.
So, do you think a woman who is 50 and above knows a lot more about herself than her 20-year-old self?
No,
Oh, okay. Tell me why.
no, because, and I say this for me. I turned 54 this year. Okay.
Mhm.
And even for me, I still don't know myself. Even
Ah,
when I was 27, there are things I would do at 27 that I wouldn't do now at 53 or 54, but I'm forever learning myself. So, no, we don't always know everything about ourselves when we're in that age group because, again, learning ourselves is every day, it's an everyday thing.
mhm.
So, no.
That's interesting. Okay. What about older women who want to date younger men?
Ooh, I have I have my bias about that.
Ooh.
And yeah, I do. I have my bias about a lot of things, and people would not think, but that's just the unapologetic part of me.
Mhm.
So, a younger man, I have my limits when it comes to someone younger. For me being 53, going on 54, I'll go 56, maybe 57, max 58. Lowest for me dating, he has to be anywhere from no younger than 50.
I see.
And the
Mhm.
reason being, it's the mommy in me. When a young man approaches me because they see me and they're like, "Ooh, you look like you're in your 30s." And I have to tell them, "No, I have a child about your age." So in my mindset, and this is me, my opinion, I have my own. If someone approaches me in that age group, I'm like, I'm almost your mom. I don't want to meet your mom. And me and your mom can go hang out in the same spot or something like that. I need to meet grandma, mom back in the day, were the ones I was raised around. So if a guy was to come to me and I would say about 48, 49, if he came to me, we would have conversations,
Mhm.
but still, I would kind of, it depends on his maturity level too. But anybody under the age of 48, not doing it.
That's interesting.
I would not do it.
So, how can a woman get in the right mindset to start dating again? Because we live in a very diverse world, and
Mhm.
things are not a mirror image of what they were 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Mhm.
So, how would today's woman get in the right mindset?
Today's woman getting in the right mindset of dating, first, a lot of people would say this. They may say I'm wrong about it, but that's my unapologetic self. Not all people are cheaters. Not
Mm-hmm.
all men cheat. Not all
Mm-hmm.
women cheat. And to get into the right mindset of wanting to get back out there in a dating arena, make sure that your mindset is I don't that it's not I don't need a man or I don't need a person. We all need somebody to some aspect. Even in companionship, I don't like to get up and change light bulbs. I don't like to get up and change the air condition filters. you know I am a God made millionaire. That's what I say every day. I am a God made millionaire. Hopefully this year we jump into billionaire. But but even with that, I know that there are things that I cannot do or that I don't want to do anymore. Being a single female.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to change my mindset about that. If I want someone to come into my life, then I had to make room for that person too. I had to be able to make room for whomever was to be, like I say, my person, whomever my person was. I had to
Mm-hmm.
make room for that. So, as a woman getting ready to get back into that arena, make sure you're ready to make room for that person. Make sure that you're balanced. I'm talking about work, life, mental, physically, emotionally balanced because not every man is going to be okay with you having these crying spells. Not every person is going to be okay with you having this I'm a boss baby attitude. Not everybody's going to be ready for you in general. So you can't give everybody everything at one time. You have to serve it to them in portions. So to be ready for this next stage of dating, make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're clear among our clearness that you are first ready to jump into this. Don't jump into it because you're lonely. Don't jump into it, but just because you want to have a flesh on side of you, don't do that. Make sure that you're ready to make space for somebody before you jump into that arena.
That's interesting. What about a man? How does a man get ready to date again who's
He would
been
have to do the
in
same.
a 30-year marriage or recently widowed or divorced?
Yeah, he would have to do the same. Make sure you're ready to make space for that person. Because when that person comes into your life, you don't want to tear them down and tear them apart because of your past.
Mm-hmm.
They were not a part of your past. So
Mm-hmm.
don't beat them with your past because they had no clue. And I had to realize that myself. I had to say it to myself, that person was not in your past. That person is right now, but they were not the ones that hurt you at the time. They were not the ones who did those things to you at that time. They were not the person who in your mind you think that they are. They're not. Everybody's different and everybody's going to bring something different to that relationship. So when you're ready, make sure again you're balanced. Make sure you find out what your triggers are for male or female. Some men will say that they want a good woman. Well, what does that look like for you? A
Yes.
woman would say that for a man. What does that look like for you? Because again, I was I was walking today and I told God, I say, thank you that I'm an imperfect person in your perfect world.
Mm, mm,
Imperfect, meaning that I'm striving for perfection for him. I'm not striving for perfection for nobody else.
mhm.
And that's what we as individuals jumping back into that dating arena, you have to understand you're an imperfect person, and that person is too. So when you learn to love them flaws and all, that means you're learning to love unconditionally.
Oh, flaws and all. I like that. I like that.
But you
So,
got to be ready.
yes. And sometimes people have a type, and perhaps it's a type that they should get away from. How do they stop that magnetic pull, that thing that puts them in the mindset or in the space of a person who is designed or similar to other people? that have been in their lives. Perhaps they're addicts, or perhaps they're alcoholics, or perhaps how do they pull themselves out of that place to stop that cycle, that continual cycle of being with that wrong individual. Not saying that people who have addictions or problems with alcohol or problems with anything cannot be rehabilitated. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, there are certain people, unfortunately, that are drawn to to a negative, um how can I say this, is I don't want to be crash, um that are drawn to things that just aren't good for them, and people who
Right.
just aren't good for them.
So I'm gonna be very controversial in this, and you know me, I'm unapologetic about that.
Hmm. Hmm.
When you said the magnet, and you know I'm a visual person, so I just saw, a person standing there and things start coming at them, like attaching themselves to it. And a lot of times, and I heard this before on a movie where it says my picker is off. My
Hmm.
picker is off. Your picker is not off. It's just that a person knows and they can see whether you're vulnerable, whether you are open, whether you are receptive of a behavior, um, because they'll try you at first. They'll try you. And
Hmm.
in that trying, if you like, okay, like I think that was one of the presidents said, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me the second time, shame on me. Fool me the third time, we all getting up out of here. When it comes to not wanting to attract what you previously attracted before, I
Hmm.
give the life experience assignment of write down the type of gentleman you've dated before.
Hmm.
What was the characteristics that drew you in to
Hmm.
that person? And when you look at the pattern of that behavior, that will show you that your picker is off, that you're choosing the same guys over and over again because it's something about them that resonates with you. It could have been from past childhood trauma. It could have been from a previous relationship that you felt like that was love when it wasn't. It could be from a relationship that you had with your mom, dad, grandparents, just those different things. And it feels normal. But you got
Hmm.
to get out of that normalcy to know that that's not it. I said this joke to my cousin, and you know my cousin Marilyn.
Hmm.
Marilyn asked me once before, she said, what type of guy would you like if God was to send you a mate? Being God would send you a mate. I I never thought I had a type because I always said I wanted a guy as long as he was taller than I was, because I'm 5'7". He could be
Hmm.
6 foot. I was happy. He could be 6 foot one. I was good. Longest when, and my mentality was because I wore high heel shoes. And
Hmm.
I always wanted the guy to be taller than me, even if I wore heels.
I
So then
see.
I would also say, if I was to marry him, don't laugh at me when I say this. Being that I was to marry him, if I lay my hand on his chest and my feet went past his feet, I had a problem. But that was me. She would laugh at me, and I was like, yeah, because it meant that he was shorter than me. Because if my feet went past his feet and his feet was touching my ankles, I had an issue. But then she laughed at me and she said, well, what type of man do you want? I said, I really want a country thug.
Oh.
She said, is that? I said, well, if I know that he country, he likes nature. I don't like to fish, but I'm okay with him fishing. I like the nature. I like to go sit by water and just hear it flow. And I like to look at the sky and look at the trees and the sun and stuff like that. And if I know that he's big country, I know he's gonna cook and he likes to eat like I like to eat. But I told her, she said, well, what's the thuggish part? I said, well, I know if we're in an area and we get in trouble, I know he'll protect me.
Wow,
I
man.
want him to be able to protect because I will protect him.
Hmm.
So I would want him to protect me. And not to say that we would get into those type of situations,
Hmm.
but I would want to know that he's a man first.
Hmm.
He's a man first. And he would know how to, like me, I know how to de-escalate a situation. I
Hmm.
want him to be able to de-escalate a situation also,
Hmm.
to know
Hmm.
that I'm safe.
Hmm. Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful. Okay. So, what about, okay, you find someone and that someone finds you
Mhm.
and they've got children and you've got children. What do you recommend uh, when you're dating someone and they have children? What do you recommend the best way to build relationship between yourself, that person, and their children?
Oh my God. See, you didn't touch one of my biases again. I love a man with children. I
Mm,
do. I love a man who can take care of his children and the mom doesn't have to ask you to do it. I love a man that can just stand firm and be who he needs to be in his children's life.
mhm,
As far as for me, when it comes to the age range, if I meet a man and he has children under teenage, that's not me. I mean, God would have to really work on me with that because my kids are grown and I have grandchildren, but my grandchildren are not with me all the time. But I know a man, if he has children that's under teenage, I know you still have to deal with the mom, but then there's a lot of rigmarole that goes with that that can cause a problem,
that's
especially if that woman sees that you're happy with someone and the kids are liking. Because I've had that before. I've dated a guy where he had sons, but my our kids were the same age.
mhm,
But the mom still had a problem. You know, she was dating, but she
mm,
didn't want him dating me because I was too nice to the children because I treated her children like they were my own. I'll
mm,
tell a man if I'm dating him, I'll never want to take the place of that child's mother.
mhm,
But I love so hard till I'll treat that child like it's mine. And I'm hoping that you're okay with that. But if you're still having this relationship with the mom on the side, I prefer that you leave me alone.
mm,
Because if you're still having this facade and this thought that one day you both will get back together again,
mhm,
it's best to leave that woman alone because you're causing more harm than good for any woman, any man. If you have children and you're still dealing with the other person,
mhm,
dealing with the children,
mhm,
it's best to not have friends. Have friends. It's not good to bring somebody into a relationship and have that person to love you and like you, only to find out that you're still having dealings in a romanticism thought or in
mhm,
a I still want to in some side inside of you want to be with your past person because you still love them. Granted, I know that you love them because they bared a child for you. I know that you care about them, but when it comes disrespectful, it's the thing for me. So I'm okay with a man having children, the
mhm,
age group, and like I said, I commend any man that can take care of his children and have a cordial relationship with the other person. But in
mhm.
that cordial relationship, if you're still having these side conversations and all this other stuff, and you can't be respectful, for me, it's best to leave me alone.
Mm, I see. So, what parting comments do you have for our listeners and viewers? Because I'm so happy that we now live in a world where you can be really frank and honest if you have mental health struggles. But Is that something that you discuss, not initially? I need to bring clarity to that.
Right.
Not initially. Is that something that you discuss with someone that you're looking or considering as a life partner?
Being that that's the person that you're considering to be a life partner, I wouldn't say off the bat at all because you're still getting to know that person.
Mhm.
Take some time before you have that discussion with them that you know that you can feel safe with that. And I talked about that the other day with a client about having a safe space. You
Mm,
want that person to be a safe space where if you're telling them this information, you know
mm,
it's not going to change how they feel about you. And it's also not going to change what they think about you, even though it shouldn't matter because you were that way before you met them. But
right.
you want to create a safe space because, again, we all have mental health issues.
We do.
Some are diagnosed, some are not.
Mm,
Some are functioning, some are not.
mm,
I even disclosed the fact that to me, there are 5 different clients that I have. But in that, finding someone that is okay to love you,
mhm,
faults and all. If you
mhm,
have schizophrenia, tell them once you know that that's your person, let them know your triggers and what happens when you're having a mental health breakdown.
mhm.
Give them the important numbers. But first, you got to know that you could truly trust that person before you do that.
Oh, yes. Makes sense.
Because I don't need you triggering me and sending me to no hospital. Somebody I done had a manic moment,
Mm,
a moment of mania, and you sending me to the hospital just so you can go find and be with your other chick. No, we're not doing that. No.
that is funny, but people do that. Yes.
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen plenty. Oh, Jesus. Had plenty of clients who were men who knew their wives had issues that would send them to the hospital just so they can be with their other person.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it's sad. I've had women do that to their men.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's why you need to be careful when
You
you.
have to be. You have to be very careful, unless, now I've seen this happen before where clients have met somebody somewhere at a doctor's hospital, psychiatric center, and they met somebody like that they already knew. But if
Mhm,
it's somebody you just knew or somebody you just met, take your time. You don't have to jump into everything all at once. And I
mhm,
hear a lot of people say it's wrong to date somebody for a long period of time. You don't know that person. You're learning that person.
mm,
Some relationships takes a while. Sometimes you may have to step away for a moment and come back to it if it's meant for you to come back to it.
I see.
Yeah, but again, don't share vital information such as that on the first cusp of meeting someone because
Mm,
either you're gonna scare them away, make them think something different from you,
mhm.
or anything like that. So yeah, be
Oh,
be
that's
mindful.
yes, that is good. Well, I wanna say thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Anytime.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your unapologetically, um, how can I say, unapologetic opinion. I had to get it right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I
Thank
love
you.
the fact that you walk in your truth and the fact that you help others find their truth. That's
Mhm.
important in especially in the world that we live in. So, okay, now I'm just curious, do you have a freebie? Are you giving away one of those copies of that wonderful book you wrote?
I'm not just giving away a copy of the book. I'm also giving a freebie session.
Oh, yes.
I am giving away a freebie session.
Mhm.
So I'll give a freebie session to a male and a female.
Okay.
So that means that's 2 60-minute sessions.
Mhm.
That's one for a male and one for a female. Because I really want the new mindset to happen.
I see. I
And
see.
when they come at me, I need them to come at me with full understanding that I'm
Mhm.
unapologetic and I'm going to say what needs to be said. And we can go from there. So,
I love it. I love it. The link to Marticia's offer is underneath this particular interview. So just click on it and we'll run like a little contest and we'll see whose name pops up, okay? Who shows
yeah.
interest, okay? So
Okay.
I just want you to know again, I thank you for being on a part of this particular summit. We love it when people come and talk about real stuff because mental health is a real issue. And I'm so glad that it is out of the closet now, or
Yes.
you don't have to hide Uncle Jib up in the attic when people come to visit.
That is so true. I just sat up there and thought about that. How many people call somebody uncle and never was an uncle?
Yes,
But
that's
was your or auntie,
yeah.
was never a family member, but the person was in your family was talking to that person. So that's what they called.
That did happen a lot. That did.
Yeah.
Yeah, uncle. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they became an
exactly.
uncle or aunt, and
Yes.
no more blood relative than
None.
Casper the ghost. I hear
Right.
you.
Just floating through. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, listening audience, I want to thank you for tuning in. There are more sessions to come, and you just need to get ready because
Yes.
we ain't done yet. Again, thank you, Marticia.
You're welcome anytime.